Mohammed Kudus.
Oh, beautiful from Kudus.
Richarlison.
It's a goal of the season contender already.
Eze.
Block from Fofana. It's Eze. It's brilliant.
Tottenham's new team is looking scary. After an up and down season in which Spurs were barely above relegation, yet somehow won a European title, it was time for some improvements. And now, not only have they gotten two top proven Premier League players, but they also have a manager who quietly built one of the smartest and most overachieving clubs in England with Brentford. So can these new signings take Tottenham to the next level? Let's find out. Eberechi Eze to Spurs. Can you imagine that? Adding an elite left winger to this already talented Spurs squad? Eze isn't just one of the best wingers in the Premier League. He's flat out one of the best players. He plays with elegance, gliding past defenders like they're not even there. He is one of those players that makes the game look easy. I mean, look at what he did to City in the FA Cup final.
This is more what they were doing, and here's Munoz, who was very involved then. Oh, it's exactly the same. Eze arrives on the scene, the same as the semi-final.
Over the years, he has become one of the most lethal attacking players in the Premier League. Now, it hasn't always been easy. Injuries have slowed him down at times. But when he's been healthy, Eze is amazing to watch. He's actually able to beat his man, score goals, and create chances for fun. The 2025 season was his best season so far. 14 goals and 11 assists in all competitions. In Crystal Palace's FA Cup run, he was phenomenal. He scored in the third round.
Bailey's there, but he's given it away. Eze turns, hits and scores. Fabulous stuff from Eberechi Eze.
Quarterfinals.
Beautifully done from Eze. Oh, it is a scintillating goal.
Semifinals.
Eze. Oh!
And of course in the final.
Munoz across,
It was a run that really cemented his legacy with the club as he helped them win their first major trophy. Think about how much of a legend he is. Palace lose their best player in Olise, Eze's best friend, yet he steps up as one of the attacking midfielders in Glasner's 3-back setup and leads the team to a title. His goal against Fulham in the quarterfinals is the one that should really excite because it gives you a glimpse of the damage he can do from the left. Since Eze joined Palace, only 6 midfielders have had more goals and assists in the Premier League than him, and most of them, if you look at this list, have played for bigger clubs and have played more games. That's what impressed me the most about Eze. Not only is he good statistically and on the eye test, but he was doing it all on a very mid team. If you look at where Crystal Palace finish in the league every season, these guys are always 12th. They are rarely in actual danger of relegation, but they are also never knocking on the door of European football. They are by definition mid. Then in the 2025 season, they also had to deal with Olise not being there, so Eze carried the burden of creativity all on his shoulders. Let's look at his game against Ipswich, for example. Look at his touches. The man was everywhere, constantly trying to make things happen. Only 4 attacking players completed more take-ons than the Englishman in the Premier League in the 2025 season. And not only did he take a lot of players on, his efficiency was also very good, slightly over 50%. Looking at this data from Sky Sports, you can see that Eze ranks very high in shots, take-ons completed, and chances created. The perfect categories to dominate as a winger. His duels won is also high, in case you guys are worried about his defensive work rate. He won the ball back in the middle and defensive third more than almost any other attacking player in the Premier League in the 2025 season. His numbers were also considerably more per game than Martinelli and Trossard. As I stated earlier, Eze can punish teams in transition with his speed and behind, but he can also create something out of nothing when everyone is parking the bus. He can cause trouble on the touchline by staying wide, but he can also create havoc in the middle when he cuts in. Interestingly, Eze actually had to adapt to dropping deep to receive the ball in possession and then breaking down a low block. Before, he was at his best when he was carrying the ball upfield and playing passes in behind. He was way better when the game was open, but as the season has gone by, he has improved tremendously at playing against low blocks. Now, the Eze signing alone would have been an impressive summer, but Spurs had gone out and picked up another top player before him, and that's Mohammed Kudus. This guy is such a beast, man. He was one of my favorite players to watch. In the 2025 season, he attempted the second most take-ons per 90 in the Premier League. The only person ahead of him was that freak Doku. The 2024 season was the same thing. Kudus was once again second in take-ons per 90 behind Doku. If we look at this first chart again, we can see that not only does he attempt a lot of dribbles, but he's very efficient at them. He consistently beats his man, and when he gets going, he is one of those players that looks like he's just gliding with the ball. He can twist past you in tight spaces, and he can accelerate past everyone when the game is more open. I mean, seriously, how many players are capable of scoring a goal like this?
He's off on one of his mazy runs. On and on he goes! A thing of wonder to seal the deal.
One drop of the shoulder and this man is gone. Then you have the goal he scored against City.
Kudus! Hang on! Hold the phone in the title race!
When he's dribbling, he uses his body really well. He shields the ball like a pro, keeping it out of reach. His low center of gravity and strong legs make it nearly impossible to push him off the ball. Against Tottenham, he gave a perfect example of what I'm talking about. He dribbled inside, used his body to block off Eberechi, then quickly changed direction to shake off Bissouma, and then sped past Archie Gray to create a chance. It's not just that Kudus is fast, he's very smart. He's always changing direction, waiting for the right moment to burst into space. In the game against Lune a few years ago, for example, he found himself in a 1v2. For a player of Kudus' caliber, this is not a problem at all. He tricked the first defender with a clever touch to the left, then rolled the ball to the right before sprinting into space and assisting the goal. That's Kudus in a nutshell right there. Quick feet, quick thinking, and a player who is full of confidence. And here's the best part. Kudus is great in all type of games. If the opponent is sitting deep, he can dribble through the tightest gaps. If it's a back and forth match with lots of space, he can carry the ball up the pitch and he has a rocket of a shot. Once this guy gets near the goal, he's a threat. Now, as good as he is on the ball, his off-the-ball movement is also very impressive. In the match against Brentford, he darted behind the defender, made space for a cross, and nearly scored. Then against Brighton, he made a clever run towards the middle, then changed direction at the last second to lose his marker, and tapped the ball into the corner. That kind of awareness is rare, and it's exactly what Spurs need. Sure, his goals and assists weren't that high in 2025, but that's because he was playing on a West Ham team that sucked and played boring football. On a more attacking team like Tottenham, his numbers will grow. He has already shown that he has the instincts and movement to score more. He just needs the chances. People forget how good this guy was in his debut season in the Premier League. He was named as the Premier League best newcomer by Gary Neville, as he got 18 goals and 10 assists in all competitions. The reason he was so good is that he was being played in his best position, on the right wing. He racked up 1,500 plus minutes in 2024 in that role, but as you can see in the 2025 season, he was forced to play everywhere else because West Ham had so many injuries. Kudus essentially became a victim of his own success because he was so versatile. Now, while he can't play through the middle, on the left, and even up top, from what I have seen, he's the most dangerous cutting in from the right onto his left foot. I saw the same thing when I analyzed his best performances for Ajax before he moved to the Premier League. He can be Thomas Frank's new Mbeumo. The Danish manager turned Mbeumo from this unknown talent from the second division of French football into one of the Premier League's top goal scorers. Imagine what he can do now with a player that is considered the star of African football. The funny part is Ange is probably fuming at home looking at these signings. The poor guy only got Solanke as one of his big transfers, and the rest were these talented teenagers like Archie Gray and Berival who needed time to develop. The good thing for Spurs is that their existing players were already good. The issue was that they were never healthy altogether. Mickey van de Ven is a fantastic center back. He's super comfortable on the ball, can break lines with his passes, and can even carry the ball himself if he has to. Just ask Manchester United. His speed plus size make him an absolute unit. It's very tough to get by him. He doesn't let anything through, whether it's the ball or the man.
Look at the way he covers his goalkeeper. As soon as the goalkeeper comes to the 6-yard line, Mickey van de Ven's coming round on the cover.
The only issue with him was the constant injuries. That's it. Then next to him is Romero. This is a center back who bleeds for the back. There's a reason Messi said he's one of the best defenders he has ever played with. He's aggressive, athletic, good on the ball. What more can you ask for from your starting center half? Then you have Brennan Johnson, who turned into an absolute beast once he deactivated his social media account. He finished as the top goal scorer for Spurs in all competitions in 2025, with one of the goals being an unforgettable moment.
Toss cross has got real purpose, and Brennan Johnson has got it in!
His goal ended Tottenham's 17-year wait for silverware. He wrote his name into the club's history with that moment. Johnson still offers a profile that is so valuable. He is lethal in transition and so deadly without the ball. Then of course there's James Maddison. His season individually was about as up and down as Spurs'. Sometimes he looked like the best attacking midfielder in the league, other times you forgot he was on the pitch. I'm curious to see where he fits in with the arrival of all these new players, but as I stated, the season is long. He will get his chance. He will get an opportunity considering how many different competitions there are and the fact that somebody always gets injured. His set pieces, creativity, and football IQ will always be needed. He's such an intelligent player in between the lines, and we have seen the levels that he can reach. If Thomas Frank can make someone like Damsgaard into an assist machine, imagine what he can do with a talent like Madison. Now, of course, we can't speak about talents at Spurs and not mention Kulusevski. He was one of the most consistent players in a very inconsistent team. While Spurs' form moved up and down more than Lily Phillips' neck, Kulusevski remained a consistent top performer. The guy was practically involved in every top moment that Spurs had. The 4-0 against Everton started with his clever layoff for Bissouma's opening goal. The come-from-behind win at Coventry in the Carabao Cup was turned when Kulusevski took control of the game and set up Spence's equalizer. When Spurs bent United over at Old Trafford, it was Kulusevski who scored the second goal with a flying volley reminiscent of his hero and Swedish countryman Zlatan Ibrahimovic. On that day, Kulusevski was the best player on the pitch by a distance. Then when Spurs ended up destroying West Ham 4-1, they were actually down a goal before Kulusevski took over and beat Areola with a powerful low shot to the near post. And then, of course, in typical fashion, he dunked on Man City, this time in the Carabao Cup. His ability to drive forward allowed him to slice City's midfield open like butter. Let's also not forget his genius pass to Solanke in the game against Villa. Ange realized very quickly in the 2025 season that Kulusevski was way better down the middle than he was on the wing. His fantastic performance against City, where he picked up a goal and assist, came when he was playing as the attacking midfielder. Then just a few weeks later, he was involved in both goals as Spurs beat Nottingham Forest, once again playing down the middle. Look at where he was creating his chances in 2025 compared to the 2024 season. The way he plays really does remind me of a slower Gareth Bale. What he lacks in Bale's speed, he makes up with power. He is so strong. It's impossible to bully this guy off the ball. And when he goes shoulder to shoulder with someone, he usually comes out as the winner. But when I say power, I don't just mean physical strength. I'm also talking about his running power. He is very difficult to stop because he's relentless. He has the hunger to keep making forward runs, to continue working even when he doesn't have the ball. Kulusevski's amazing ability on the ball, combined with his unlimited work rate, make him such a valuable asset for Thomas Frank. Let's just see where the Danish manager actually plays him. And then up front, Dominic Solanke is the number 9 every team needs. He's strong in the air, he holds up the ball well, and to be honest, he knows how to find the net in big games. In the Europa League semi-final in Norway, with everything on the line, it was Solanke who stepped up and scored. It was that goal that helped push Spurs into the final, and the rest, of course, is history. Thomas Frank has already shown that he has a lot of faith in Richarlison as well. He has put the Brazilian up front as the focal point of the attack. Given his track record with developing strikers, Richarlison can easily get to another level. I mean, Thomas Frank made Mope look amazing, and Richarlison is a significantly better player. So now imagine giving all of this talent to a manager who has proven for years that he can overachieve with far worse players. Despite a smaller squad and more competition than ever in the Premier League, Brentford stayed in the race for a European place until the final weeks in the 2025 season. They finished 10th, capping off 4 full seasons in the Premier League with final positions of 13th, 9th, 16th, and 10th. That level of consistency, with one of the league's lowest budgets, is nothing short of remarkable. And along the way, Thomas Frank's Brentford beat almost everyone. They embarrassed Manchester United, which I know is not that big of an achievement these days, but still. They won at Chelsea, they stunned City, and they even took points off Spurs. Thomas Frank had turned Brentford into the giant killer. They played smart, they played brave, and were always ready for a fight. And now, he brings that same spirit to Tottenham. When Levy saw just how much Thomas Frank was overachieving with limited resources, I just know his balls were tingling. That's exactly the type of manager he was looking for. Every season, Thomas Frank lost good players. Sometimes it was his best goal scorer like Mope, Ollie Watkins, and Tony. Other times it would be someone in the back line like Raya and Konsa. Yet without fail, he would adapt. But I believe Levy was also impressed by Thomas Frank's ability to develop talent. Thomas Frank doesn't talk about projects, he builds them. When he got to Brentford, he transformed many great talents into actual top Premier League players. It was under Thomas Frank that Ollie Watkins transformed from a winger into a center forward. That move was pivotal to his career. If he stayed as a winger, who knows what would have happened to his development. That change in position completely changed the trajectory of his career, as he became one of the very best number 9s in the league. Then you also have Tony, Mbeumo, and Wissa, who evolved into elite players. In the 2025 season, Mbeumo was one of the best forwards in the league. He got 20 goals and 8 assists on a side that ended up mid-table. Then you have Damsgaard, who got 10 assists as an attacking midfielder in the 4-2-3-1, but nobody talked about him. Take this man to Turkey for a hair transplant and he would be all over Sky Sport. It's also important to look at the different profiles that all succeeded under Thomas Frank. Mope, Tony, and Mbumo are all different types of forwards, yet each of them were successful under Thomas Frank. The man is a master of working with the tools at his disposal. I think what Spurs fans are going to love about him the most is his flexibility. Not being able to change things on the fly was one of the biggest criticisms that Ange received. He always stuck with the 4-3-3 and rarely changed his style of play, but that's not an issue for Thomas Frank. In his first few years in the Premier League, he switched between a 3-5-2 system and a 4-3-3. It was a 3-back but with aggressive wingbacks, so that the team would morph into a 5-back out of possession. The system worked great, especially against teams that wanted to dominate possession like Manchester City, Liverpool, and Arsenal.
I mean, that's said, it's not a secret. You play two systems, normally a back four, but when you play against the so-called top six or some of the bigger teams, you go to a back three.
Frank adapts to the tools at his disposal. Brentford got promotion to the Premier League through a possession style of play. They were in the top 5 for possession in each of Frank's 2 full seasons in charge in the Championship. His team also scored more goals than every other team in those campaigns.
Especially all my time, especially here in the Championship where we were the dominant side. I think that 2 years in a row we scored the most goals in the Championship and were one of the most dominated, most attacking teams there.
But he completely changed his philosophy and style as soon as he got to the Premier League. He became far more pragmatic. But now with better players available to him, who knows what he can achieve. I personally think we are going to see a shift back to the way that Frank's Brentford teams played in the Championship. Because when you look at this chart right here, you can see that over time, Brentford were moving further away from the slow and intricate style. Now that he has access to more money and better talent, I think he's going to want his side to keep the ball more. But the good thing is that he will also likely encourage his players to not be afraid of being more direct. Under Ange, Tottenham basically only played short passes. Only Man City had less long passes than them. But under Frank, we could see elements of his Brentford side when it comes to putting long balls into the channel to create opportunity. Unfortunately, one legend we won't see under Thomas Frank is Heung-min Son. To see just how good the Korean was for Tottenham, you gotta watch this video right here.